Abraham, I've been following you for quite some time.
It's actually the other way around. We're following you.
Yeah, that's good. Funny enough, the last time I spoke with you, I was mentioning to you about needing a lot of sleep. And the end of last year, this will sound really random, but I got rid of an old bed and had to get a new one. Since then, it's been constant attraction, it seems, of beds that are just horrible for me. I don't know if it makes a difference, but I've been living on a tiny island. There's a monopoly of one company that makes the beds, so whatever. But so it's gotten to a point of getting next to no sleep and watching myself break down. And then...
Well, that's that momentum. In other words, when you begin with the premise that I'm not getting enough sleep, then you can't attract anything that would be otherwise. And so then the more you recognize you're not getting enough sleep, the more the universe delivers to you more things like that. And this is not an easy thing for you to get around, because while we want to help all of you to become less conditional about things, something like that is a condition that is oppressive. And so it is not the easiest thing to get your attention on something else. But rather than trying to put your attention on getting plenty of sleep when you already believe that the odds are stacked against you and the mattresses are too, and that it's not likely that you're going to have a restful sleep under these conditions, it would be far better for you to get off that subject altogether and get into the receptive mode. And once there, the universe will deliver to you the means for you to do that.
And how do you do that when you've gotten to the point where you're so broken down and it's something you have to return to every night the next night? You're scared.
That's what we were just talking about. We would do our best to use different words. Those are very strong words. Broken down. Esther occasionally has more people visit her than she has places to put them. And she got some beds that she plugs in and pushes a button, and they make themselves into a bed. And friends who have spent time in them find them to be more or as comfortable as very high-end mattresses, if you considered anything like that. There are avenues to get you what you want that you can't find when you're in the I'm in a condition where things are breaking down for me mode. But there are solutions that you have not allowed yourself to receive. Even feeling resistance about this encouragement, and it's a really good idea.
So you're saying get an inflatable mattress?
Not just any inflatable mattress. This is a mattress that it's on a stand. You push a button, it comes in a zipped up bag. You plug it in, you push a button, and it folds itself out. It becomes a bed, a really nice bed, a really good feeling, long sleeping bed. Amazon,
okay.
But the point of this is...
Can you give me the name of this bed? I want to make sure I got it.
You'll sleep like a baby.
Okay. It's on a stand and it inflates and it rolls out and I'll find it.
Yes, and it's so obvious that you make such a good point with us that something so easy to accomplish was not available to you because of your discomfort. In other words, so many people are in that place where they are so uncomfortable with the current conditions, and the current conditions therefore are dictating their vibrational offering, so that they can't get into the receptive mode about that. So they cannot receive even an obvious, easy to accomplish, even if you live on a desert island, solution. It's all right. You help us say a lot to a lot of people, because so many have other things that are keeping them awake or preventing them from the joy that they deserve. So can you feel the momentum? You're just facing reality. You're just telling us like it is. And you were explaining that you haven't been sleeping very well, and now you are finding justification for not sleeping very well. But in the finding justification for not sleeping very well, then it becomes impossible for you to find something that is comfortable for you. When it is not difficult for you to find something, it's not difficult for any of you to find the solutions to any of your problems. It's just that you are blind to the solutions when you are engulfed in the problem. That's really what we're saying.
Okay. So I'm going to look on Amazon and I'm going to find this?
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask this as well, because this has kind of always been there.
Well, if it's always been there,
Yeah.
if it's always been there, it is highly likely that it's going to continue for a while.
Why is the idea of suicide or removing myself from this physical world always been present. I've always felt removed from this experience.
But it's not just on that subject. You're always looking for options and ways out, aren't you?
Yeah.
And there's not a morbid or a dangerous reason for this. It's that you are a freedom seeker to the very core of your being, and you refuse to get boxed into anything, to the point that you might even live on a remote island that doesn't have very big mattresses. That's a sort of form of boxing oneself in some ways. So, did you go there for isolation, or did you go there for the beauty of the place?
Oh, I was born there, and it's trying to figure a way out of there and live in somewhere where I can get a job or, support myself and keep myself somewhere like I love LA, and that's what we spoke about the last time. It's always seemed a little, I've not been able to navigate that thus far.
Well, not yet. That was a good tag that you put on the end of that, thus far, because things are in the process of becoming. And so we would not put any significance on that idea of reemerging to non-physical as a way to release from resistance. That's all that it is about. But there are other productive, easy to accomplish ways to release from resistance also. And so what we are always aware of when we're visiting with anyone is what the power of their intent is versus their desire to be without resistance. And we talk all day, every day about releasing resistance. And recently we've been talking about not making such a big deal out of resistance and recognizing how often you can get in the receptive mode. But that's all it is. You're a freedom seeker and you like to feel good. And when you can't or haven't yet figured out how to direct your thoughts in a consistent way so that you get crossways or add resistance to that current of your inner being, then sometimes that discord can feel intense. And it is in those intense moments that you're looking for radical relief. But there are so many other ways that are more practical for you to find. Don't put up with discomfort, even with a bed. Don't put up with discomfort. Don't settle for discomfort when comfort is at hand.
Yeah, I would like to find it. And at this point,
this entire conversation all day today and all day yesterday is to help you to recognize that where you are is all right and that it can improve. And so we're not asking you to change your words, because words don't matter very much. But your words do reflect how you feel. And so it is our desire that your feeling shifts. And it is shifting. Your point of attraction is shifting. It's getting better and better. And as you acknowledge the improvement, then you increase that momentum. As you acknowledge the things that are missing, then you increase that momentum. It really is that simple. It is that simple.
I have noticed a little bit of a glimmer.
All right, so don't diminish it by calling it a little bit and a glimmer. Say, I have noticed that. That's a stronger statement. But even in the noticing it, you were wanting to face the reality. I've noticed it, but not very much, and it's a glimmer and doesn't come very often. You see what we're getting at? Just remember that your thoughts matter a lot. And don't beat up on yourself about your thoughts. We're seriously not doing that. But acknowledge your thoughts. Acknowledge that your perception of things matters. And then do your best to contour your perception in the most positive way that you can. Meaning the best feeling way. So which feels better? I have noticed some improvement. Or I've noticed a tiny little bit of improvement.
I've noticed some improvement.
Yeah, that's a distinction worth noting. And then let's Swiss cheese it a little bit. So the big picture of resistance says, my improvement isn't coming fast enough in enough ways. That's what you're feeling. But you did say to us, I have noticed some improvement. So like what? Like what? Just something brief where improvement is evident to you.
A belief that I can get to LA, which is where I want to be.
So this is something you have blockage about, or this is something that you already believe. This is something that right now you don't believe and you're wanting to achieve that belief.
I believe it seems a little bit more possible now.
All right, so that's not a really good one because it just feels a little bit more, just a little bit more believable. Why do you believe it more?
Because I said to my parent, let me give you an example. I'm here right now because I have an important question, one of them that I want to ask you, right? And I had to come here. And I don't have any money to do it with, and I guess there's such a huge sense of disempowerment. So I told a parent that I was coming to Asheville to interview for a job. So they would give me the money to come here to see you, to speak to you. But I knew if I got here, I would get to speak with you.
So that was a powerful intention, wasn't it? Because in the scheme of things and in the receptive mode category and so forth, well, we were about to.
Good, I would.
In the receptive mode, you are not the most receptive person in this room.
No.
Far from it, really, because of the dilemma that you're focused upon. And yet, the power of your desire landed you in this chair. So when there is a strong desire, even if there is some resistance, that strong desire carries. And so then when you couple that strong desire with doing some work on getting in the receiving mode, getting in the receiving mode, getting in the receiving mode, things start to improve for you. That's the most significant thing that you could have asked and we could have answered. But what you're looking for, you want manifestations, you want the job. You don't want us to talk to you about emotion. We want to talk about the unconditioned, you want to talk about the condition. We want to talk about the unconditioned, you want to talk about the condition. And the unconditioned, you can't manifest a job right now this red hot minute, but you can manifest an inspired thought. So let's Swiss cheese this. So give us a statement that best represents the dilemma that you feel about the job or about moving.
I feel like I'm literally gone. Like, as in, I feel like I am fried. Brain is not there, on death's door, no sleep. My body is riddled with all kinds of ailments right now. I'm in constant pain 24/7. I think that's where I just want to get out of it,
So that's enough.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's what I'm going through.
We're not making fun of you in any way. So we're going to make a statement of desire relative to this problem or situation. I am lost.
Beyond. Yeah.
And I don't know what to do. And so this is a big project to tackle. So big that when you try, it just gets worse. So big that when you try, even simple solutions don't come to you. So big that it feels like there's no way out. So we're going to Swiss cheese it. So since that is so big, let's take some smaller. Now, you did that almost intuitively. You presented to us the situation about the bed. I can't find a comfortable bed. There isn't a comfortable bed on the island. In other words, you're making statements that, first of all, aren't true, but it doesn't matter if they aren't true. They're true to you. And if they're true to you, then that's the way law of attraction responds to you. So even given all of that, so I now have an idea. Abraham gave it to me, but I now have an idea about a possible bed. Wouldn't it be nice if this bed really does exist and could be delivered to where I am, and that I could plug it in? You have electricity?
Yes.
I've got electricity that I could plug it in and push a button and it will manifest. The idea of comfortable sleep will manifest into a viable solution right before my eyes. Now that is worth talking about, and that is for sure. So what else? I barely raised my hand in a sea of hundreds of people, and Abraham found me instantly and easily and called me forth. That's worth talking about. The big thing is I can't get my life to work. The Swiss cheese is my life works relative to the bed. My life worked relative to Abraham calling me forward in the hot seat. What else? I'm one of the most beautiful people on the planet. What else? What else? You think of anything?
That's working? That I can speak positively?
Anything that is,
experience?
anything that is part of the big problem that we could solve more easily. We're not asking you for things that are already solved. We're asking you something that's part of the bigger problem that we might be able to solve more easily. In other words, your body breaking down, that's a bigger deal to talk about. We will, but that's a bigger subject than I can't find a bed. I can't find a bed was an easy subject for us to contemplate. I came with deliberate intent to talk to Abraham and was inspired to the words that were necessary to bring it about. That was pretty good. It isn't that I manipulated my parents into me being here. It's that I was inspired to words that accomplished something that mattered to me. That's something worth talking about. In a problem of life not working, that's a piece of it that did. You see what we're getting at? Mm-hmm.